Yeah, good evening, good evening. I'm first warning meteorologist Eric Burris. This is Coffee Talk Evening Edition. Every time I fill in for Manifoli, we hang out at night. It is 9:01. How are you? I hope you're having a great night. We're going to be chatting about the weather, getting you updated this evening, see what's doing on the radar, see what's doing here locally, and we're going to be chatting about the tropics because there are a few things to monitor out there. And as you can see here in the corner, we're also watching Fiona trying to get better organized. Would not surprise me, by the way, if Fiona doesn't make a run for Cat 3 intensity this evening. But for right now, let's just set the stage. Here's a live look outside on our Tower Cam network. We're looking over to Spaceship Earth. What a cool shot at 9:02 in the evening. Spaceship Earth over at Epcot, all lit up. They've got their nighttime spectacular. I forget what it's called these days. You know, it's funny. I've seen the Magic Kingdom show quite a bit here recently. Haven't seen the Epcot one, but that's okay. Man, isn't that pretty? I could look at that all night. We've been watching some showers and thunder showers around town. The overall coverage down just a little bit. Here's a look at live radar. And the metro, let me just zoom in. The metro is relatively quiet. South and east is where the rain is still falling. And important to note, Futurecast, I think, did a bang-up job on this. Let me put this into motion, just give you an idea. Kind of see all the rains around, right? Still falling around Kissimmee, over to St. Cloud. The heavier stuff in more rural Osceola County. Along the beach line, still watching the rains there. Up here towards Scottsmore, the rain's kind of tapering off, and that's basically it, right? So we're doing pretty okay overnight tonight. What about tomorrow? How does your Tuesday shape up? Let's take a gander at it. Type that. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, here's a look at our 12-hour forecast. Starting tomorrow morning with temperatures in the mid-70s, it's going to be beautiful. We'll make it into the mid-80s by lunchtime. 91 the high temperature, so maybe a little warmer than average. Then we get those thunderstorms going, right? A 50% coverage of seeing those showers and those thunder showers. So let's do this. Let me type that. Let me find Futurecast. I have to use different stuff at night. Bear with me. There's everything clearing out. 5, 6, 7 o'clock. Starting to see a couple of showers across Flagler County, our northern spots. Something to keep in mind there for the morning. Through 11, 12 o'clock, we're looking good. Then we get a little bit more rain getting going. There's 2 p.m. across Marion, Lake, Volusia, Flagler. Working it into the metro by 4 p.m. Showers and thunder showers around downtown. And, of course, for that evening commute through 7, 8 o'clock. And then kind of gradually tapering on off. Yeah, further and further to the south. Okay, so that's a look. Oh, that's the wrong button. Hold on. That's the right button. I almost hit the wrong 7-day forecast. So that's kind of a look at our forecast for tomorrow. Here's a look at the full 7-day forecast, and you can kind of get an idea. Tomorrow, showers and thunder showers, tapering off a little bit for our Wednesday, our Thursday, our Friday. Yeah, look at that. Fall begins on Thursday. And we're mostly dry. 20% chance of rain. That is dynamite. I mean, it's going to be a little warmer, and that's the way the cookie crumbles, I suppose. Then by the weekend, we start to dial the rain chances back up a little bit. 40, 50% is about average. So, you know, that's kind of to be expected. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns about our local forecast? If not, I definitely want to get to the tropics because there's quite a bit going on out there, and I want to make sure we spend plenty of time talking about that. Also, I do apologize. I'm halfway asleep. At this point in time, I'm usually nodding off. So I'm going to do my best to stay awake here these next couple of nights, filling in for Manolfi, who you can take the weather nerd out of the weather center, but you can't take the weather center out of the weather nerd. He and I have been talking already today quite a bit about weather because we're nerds, and it is what it is, right? All right, any questions locally? We really needed the rain in southern Brevard. We were really dry, JG says. Oh, for sure. for sure. Bad storm in St. Cloud, Francis says. Indeed, yeah. Patty says we got 1.07 inches in Palm Coast during the day. Finally got to swim late afternoon and evening. Love it. Love it. Steven says eyes on in the Gulf, about 7 to 10 days. Yeah. Jamie, did you see that JetBlue flight that flew over the hurricane? Yeah, I did see that. For those of you that don't know, there was a JetBlue flight that flew right through the eye of Hurricane Fiona. I'm actually chatting with a friend of mine who may or may not work at JetBlue, and we were just chatting about that. Can you imagine the flight that was? Kind of fun. Anyway, all right, so here's the latest on Fiona. Of course, I've got the information throughout the broadcast in the bottom left corner. Hurricane Fiona, 8 o'clock advisory, shows winds of 105 miles an hour. It's on its way to becoming a major hurricane. I think that probably will be a Cat 3 or at least borderline Cat 3 this evening. Storm system definitely getting better organized. The good news, if there is any, is just reviewing the radar data out of San Juan. Notice that, at least for a little bit, we have cleared out the torrential downpours. Now, there is another batch south of rain that will be lifting up, but at least, you know, let's try and slow down the rains just a little bit for our friends there in Puerto Rico. Over 30 inches has fallen in some spots. So that's intense rain. I mean, it truly is intense rain. All right. Forecast from the Hurricane Center keeps it well offshore for us. Does bring it, though, to major hurricane intensity, and Hurricane Fiona would be the first major hurricane of this season. Okay. Cat 3 by tomorrow afternoon. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Cat 3 by tomorrow afternoon, Cat 4 by Wednesday afternoon, and while it passes safely to our east, Juan's asking, could Fiona become a major hurricane? That's absolutely what the forecast is. While it is passing safely to our east, what I think is so interesting is how these storms, in the vastness of the Atlantic, somehow find a way to get close to Bermuda. Thursday into Friday, a major hurricane is going to be passing very near Bermuda. So let's look at one of the models, okay? This is the most recent run of the, it says Euro, it actually should say GFS. Why is that wrong? Hold on, let me fix it. Oh, because I copied and pasted the banner, you idiot. Hold on. Yeah, that's definitely the GFS. Stand by. All right. Okay. All right, can we do this again? All right, let me zoom in here. At least the most recent GFS run keeps the majority of the worst wind, the 120, 125 mile per hour winds, just outside of Bermuda. But you can kind of see those pink shades. You're talking about winds there in the 70, 80, 85, 90 mile per hour range. So hopefully the majority of Fiona will stay away from Bermuda. But either way, this is going to be a close call, and certainly is not something that our friends in Bermuda want. And so again, I say, for those that say, oh, it's just a fish storm, it's absolutely not just a fish storm. 30 inches of rain in Puerto Rico. 30 inches of rain in Puerto Rico. That's not a fish storm. All right? All right, so that's Fiona. After Fiona, what's out there? Let's get our bearings here. Top left corner is Fiona there near the Dominican Republic and Haiti, near where it says first warning weather, okay? Just north of South America is another little wave. It's not developed yet, but it's bubbling up some convection, definitely something trying to get going there. And over the next few days, not only does it look like it wants to get going, but the models are really biting on this. We first talked about this one during Coffee Talk this morning, right? So there's that. Models haven't really changed much. And I'll tell you, I did quite a bit of investigating on this. Let me see if I can easily pull this up. I can. Hold on. Give me a few seconds and I will do this. I think I can do that. Yes, I can. Okay, give me a few seconds and I'm going to dial this back. Okay, perfect. All right. I wanted to show you a couple of different things. So first off, there's that. Percentage went up from 0 in the 2-day time, 20% in the 5-day time, to 0 in the 2-day time, 30% in the 5-day time. So we're not thinking that this is going to get going very quickly, but we are thinking that it is going to get going, okay? So there's that. Anthony says that this will probably be your floor Easter. Yeah, I think so. I do think so, all right? So there it is there. Let's look at the models, shall we? All right, this is the most recent run of the GFS. Of course, what you're seeing there near the Dominican Republic, that is Fiona. Fiona lifting to the north, getting strong, and at least the newest run of the GFS keeps it a little further away from Bermuda, which would be great. Notice south of Puerto Rico, this is 3Z Saturday. So what you're looking at is 11 p.m. Friday, as in a couple of days from now. 1,001 millibar, like a tropical storm kind of thing. Getting going, coming awful close there to Jamaica. Looks like scraping along the southern tip there of Jamaica is a 997, 989, 986, 985 low. So now we're getting into hurricane status. Getting awful close to Cuba. That is Tuesday, 15Z. So that is 11 o'clock in the morning. And then coming across Cuba, getting awful strong and recurving. What is that, a 942? I mean, that's a major hurricane. Obviously, it is way too early to dial into any kind of intensity there, okay? So keep that in mind. That is the most recent. That is the 18Z GFS. If we go back a run to the 12Z, it had the idea there, but heading kind of toward the Yucatan. The problem is the physics of this one don't match because weaker goes west. If it's strong, it wants to kind of recurve. So, and you can see it finally recurves it, but you know, I don't buy the 12Z at all. You go back and the 6Z, this is what we watched during Coffee Talk. Kind of in line with what the 18Z is running, okay? So that's the GFS. Let's just come back here. Let's go back in time, and that is 18Z Sunday, so that is this Sunday afternoon. Let's switch over from the GFS to the European. And the 12Z is the last like full run of the European. And you can see it there south of Jamaica, kind of getting over toward the western tip there of Cuba. And then the last frame is there, near Florida, right? So you've got an interesting scenario where that's 240 hours out. That's Thursday, September 29th, as in 10 days from now. So you've got the European, like that's the current run of the European, and that's the current GFS. Both pretty close in agreement. So, you know, there's something interesting there. Now, for those of you that follow the long-range forecast that we put out, you know, everybody always asks, is this that? Is this, you know, is this storm system? Is this storm system? And I always say, I don't know. You don't know until it kind of plays out, right? So this was the forecast that we had put out March 1st, calling for the, we keep calling it the floor Easter, but it was a storm system November 5th, November 6th. Mid-May it came through. It was not tropical, but it was, you know, it was stormy. Late July came through, but it was a little stormy. Late September, obviously it hasn't come through yet. We highlighted the west coast of Florida. That's September 29th. That's late September. Fiona doesn't fit the pattern by just looking at the 500 levels, okay? That's what's so kind of interesting. So what I want to do, give me a few seconds to turn this around. I want to show you something. Copy image address. That, new browser. Okay. Bear with me. Okay, so what you're looking at there is the 500 millibar forecast for Fiona. New browser, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to pull something else up. I'm sorry, not for Fiona, but for this next system. Copy image address. We'll call this, hold on a second, scrape to that. What I'm pulling up here, I'm going somewhere, bear with me. 80 by 720, okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. Plus browser. I'm doing this on the fly, forgive me. Scrape plus browser. Scrape to. Okay, perfect. All right, I know that I'm making you watch this, and this is what they call it university bad television, but I'm going for a purpose here. Okay. And I am ready for you. All right, so what you're looking at there is the 500, thank you for your patience. So that's the 500 millibar chart for Friday the 30th, 18Z, okay? Does that make sense? I'll enlarge it for you. What I want you to notice here is I want you to notice a little area of low pressure off the Baja California, little trough out over like Idaho, Washington, Oregon, little trough in the northeast United States. This is the 500 millibar chart for the actual date of the Florista. Okay, and I want you to notice, what do we have there? Kind of the same features. Little low off of the coast there of Baja California, little low out around the Pacific Northwest. Little trough over the northeast United States. All right, so it's lining up. So to me, if I'm honest, looking at that thing, there's at least the idea that that lines up with the Florista, you know? So to me, just looking at the two, you know, again, model data, that's the 500. You know, to me, it's kind of there. You know, the similarities are kind of there, at least enough that that captures my attention a little bit, okay? As far as the ensembles go, let's just take a look and see what the GFS ensembles are showing. All right, so there goes Fiona. And then the ensembles are coming alive. As you'd expect, you know? Yeah, so around the 29th, 30th, 31st, 32nd, that kind of, 32nd, first, good gravy. I need coffee in the worst way. Yeah, around the 29th, 30th, you know, the end of September. I literally just said the 32nd. That's how you know I need coffee. But in that time frame, yeah, maybe watching a little something. Is too early. It is too early. Linda says, I live in Ocala. I'm scared. You don't need to be scared, my dear. You don't need to be scared. First off, we deal with this every year. I'm going to give you all the data, and I'm going to give you all the information without any hype, okay? So don't worry about that. Jenny says that's why this isn't television. That's right. Mick says, Florida's closed. Sorry, next system. Yeah, right? Exactly. Could this storm system have a similar track to Charlie? Because if it does, that would really be bad. It could, you know, and then the other thing to watch, too, is as it progresses, we talked about this last week, is the A-Bear box, right? Do you remember that? We were talking about that, the A-Bear box. The A-Bear box, Charlie, Francis, Wilma, Irma, pass through those, right? Storms that go through there, especially if they're stronger, have the opportunity historically to kind of impact Florida. So could this impact that A-Bear box? It'll be interesting, right? You're looking at Fiona's computer models, but, you know, you get that idea. So to me, it's going to be interesting these next couple of days, right? Here, models. This is the European kind of showing it, trying to get a little cyclone genesis Thursday into Friday. And then after that, yeah, wants to try and lift it up to the north into the Gulf of Mexico. So, yeah, it's next couple of days are going to be interesting. Plenty of time to watch it. Right now it's a nothing, and models don't do great with a nothing. But I will say that it at least, you know, the dynamics look like it's perhaps trying to fit into the Florista pattern. And that's why I don't, you know, call, oh, this is the Florista when it happens. When it happens, we'll know. And when it hasn't happened, we don't know, right? Andrew says, you heard it here first. Big storm on September 32nd. I will tell you, this mug will be filled up with coffee for WESH 2 News at 10 over on CW18. Come on, it's way too far out to guess at this point, Jeff says. Yeah, I'm not guessing. I'm just looking at model data and I'm using long-range techniques. Joel says rule number 7, as Dennis Phillips would say. Yep, that's right. Rowena, I love how data-driven this is. Well, we try to look at the data, and that's the thing, is we're not hyping, we're just looking. We're looking at information, that's all. I know, stop hyping, right? Pops would say, put on some Hendrix, all will be fine. I love that. You know what? I'm going to have to listen to some Hendrix after our Facebook Live broadcast here. I'm definitely going to have to put on some Hendrix in memory of. Fiona's supposed to already make that curve, and to me it's moving more west-northwest. Looks like Irma. Well, it's a powerful storm. And there's going to be wobbles to it, but, you know, Fiona is the stronger storms want a recurve, so yeah. LRC learning is fun too. Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate that. Anthony says Atlantic looks more active than the Pacific. Well, you usually get one or another. The Madden-Julian oscillation either ties into one or it ties into another. Right? That's it. You don't get to have both of them getting going. Linda says, I don't mind a little hype, but you do not do it. Well, yeah, that's not my style. I couldn't do that. Thank you for everything. Of course, Matt, of course. Andrew Shipatovsky. Is it really copy? Is it? Wow, I grade myself as like a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10. Is it really coffee talk if you're in need of coffee? The espresso maker's back there. I just have to make it. I will do it. I was waiting for the 10. Hey, you stop running your mouth. You're not getting any espresso. What is a florister? Christy's asking. Christy, thank you for joining. All right, so what is a florister? So a part of what we do on Coffee Talk, and welcome, a part of what we do is we issue long-range forecasts, the hurricane season forecast, for example. And the way that it works, and we're entering into a new one here, the way that it works is during the months of October and November, a weather pattern sets up and it changes. So we're about to enter into a completely new weather pattern, and we're going to be observing that, getting that ready to make our next hurricane season forecast for 2023. Rose is asking if it's Bustelo. Oh, it's Pilone. We're a Pilone weather department, my love. It's a Pilone weather department. So we look for the major weather players that happen in October and November, and then watch them recycle over and over and over again. So when we refer to the Florista, that is the November 6th storm system. It was an area of low pressure that was out in the Gulf of Mexico, crossed the peninsula, and got kind of fired up as it was moving away. There was November 6th, brought a ton of rainfall. Let it load. Let it load. Back on November 6th, 2021. Obviously not tropical, but it was a storm system that did that. Every year, the duration of the cycle is different, and so once you kind of key into that, then you have the idea of where the tropical pieces can go. The storm systems during the winter can go. And it's not perfect. Nothing is perfect. But it gives you at least a little bit of a better idea on things, okay? So for November 6th, when we made our long-range forecast, we said these are kind of the areas to highlight. Mainly the west coast of Florida, but also, if it does try to develop on the east, it could be an East Coast thing. And we highlighted these 3 time frames. Now, mid-May came through as a decent storm system, non-tropical. Late July came through as a decent storm system, non-tropical. Late September, question mark. That's September 29th. I know. I got a boo from the back. So that's what the Florester is. It's a part of our long-range forecast. You can read the whole long-range forecast by heading to wesh.com/hurricane forecast. Okay, we always put that out there and offer it in kind of a nice write-up. And my goal, if you're new here, certainly this would be new to you. But my goal is to give you all the information with zero hype. That's the whole thing. Huge storm. We'll tell you where Hurricane XYZ is hitting and why you should freak out. I hate that. I hate that. So we'll give you data. Stop hyping. Showing data and hyping are totally different. Come at me. Right? So that's kind of where we're at. All right? The no hype zone. Kevin's asking, do you ever sleep? Not enough. I'll be on TV tonight until 11:30. And then I'm back awake at 5 a.m. tomorrow to get the kids up. I heard that Eric, my son Eric was crying tonight, missing me. So that makes me super sad. Yeah, makes me super sad. I was just reading. Can you do a tutorial on the LRC? That was basically the tutorial. Just a super oversimplification of it. But yeah. You look at yearly patterns in October and November. So I've already started taking notes for this. And you look for major weather players, and that's kind of how you make your forecast. So we'll talk it all through over the coming months. And if you hang out, we do coffee talk every day at 8 a.m. I'm here at 9 because I'm in for Manalfi. And I'll be in for Manalfi tomorrow and Wednesday. So we'll have an evening coffee talk again tomorrow and Wednesday. Nancy says that's interesting. Oh, it's fascinating. And again, like I said, it's not perfect, but it gives you a good idea. Grab your kids, you will die, Kayla says. Yeah. I couldn't work at a television station that did that. I couldn't do it. Can I recommend a generator? I don't have one, so I don't know. Nathan says, Shrek, come get your wife. She's being naughty and out of control. Yeah, right. Is Artemis going up? I mean, the 27th is different than the 29th, 30th, 32nd. So no, I think Artemis is fine. I hope so. I want to be out there and watch this rocket go up. I hope so. David says, man, Tony got the life. Bada bing. Yeah, guy deserves a couple days off. Stacy says Generac generators. Ellis, I'm pretty sure Eric will be up, friends, with coffee talk tomorrow night and Wednesday night. Yeah, I'll be up with you. I'll be drinking. Maybe I'll get the coffee going a little early. John says, hype like there's no tomorrow and tell him there is no tomorrow. Oh my God, yeah, right. There's no tomorrow. We're all going. Oh, man. Pat says, I hate when hurricanes hit us, but I get super excited and giddy as it gets closer. I don't like hurricanes hitting us. I love the science of the tropics, but I hate when they hit. 100% hate when they hit. Oh gosh, I also need to get some coffee. Good gravy. Ugh. When will we see some cool temps? Mid-October. Let's go with mid-October. Why not? Why not? Yeah. All right. Any questions? Brooke, I'm so sad I missed the news. Just joined. You missed the fact that there's apparently a September 32nd. I made that up because I'm that tired. What's this crazy El Nino thing I've been hearing about lately? El Nino? What do you mean? I mean, I haven't heard anything about an El Nino. We're in our third La Nina, and that has played out during our hurricane season forecasting. I always learn something during coffee talk. Yes, Monica. That's what I want. I want you to have a little something. I want you to pick a little something up. See a coffee talk in the morning. Debbie says, all right, sounds good, Jennifer. See ya. All right. I guess we've been going for a half an hour, so that's good enough. All right. Yeah. So that's where we're at. We'll be watching the tropics. We'll be watching the tropics. If I didn't have to be up at 5 a.m., I would have, I would probably wait for the 00 models. Oh, well. I read something like a double El Nino this year. No, we're in a triple dip La Nina, which is the exact opposite of an El Nino, Nathan. Nikki, I'm okay with them staying in the ocean, but I'm always fascinated by the bands. The science of it is fascinating. Yeah. Sounds good, Trina. Hopefully I'll be awake and I won't say September 32nd. Right? All right. Listen, be good, everybody. Let's get some sleep. Let's relax, enjoy our evening. Toby says, leaving on a cruise September 26th through October 1st. Will it be affected? Too early to tell, but definitely something to watch. Yeah, all right? All right, be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you so much for hanging out. I will see you guys and gals tonight on WESH 2 News at 10 on CW18 and on WESH 2 News at 11 on WESH 2. Right? All right. Good night, y'all. Bye.